So I got my '08 Charger unloaded off the trailer. It's definitely got something wrong with the engine, but that's okay because we're going to swap this engine out with another one. But I do kind of want to see what's wrong with it a little bit before I take it out and don't have the ability to turn it over or it be sitting somewhere. So we'll do a little bit of troubleshooting on this motor to see what's going on with it. I did crank it up briefly and something's rattling in it, so it's probably done ate a valve seat and it's banging around, little parts of it are banging around on top of the piston. But stay tuned, we'll do a little bit of diagnostics on this and get started on this project here.
Okay, this is what we can assume is the good side of the motor because it's had a rebuilt or replaced head. There's a stamping on there that you can tell, and compared to the other side, it's greasy. You can see a difference, so we can assume that this is the good side of the motor and this is where our problem is. We're going to do a short, like a borescope, run a borescope down in there to see if we can find the problem, if there's any valve material or valve seat in there, which is most likely what happened. Okay, so what we figured out what was wrong with this was piston number 1, which would be this set of spark plugs right here, dropped the valve seat, and it was a little piece of metal and it chewed up this piston, and this was happening while it was running, so it sucked it back up into the intake and went down into number 3, I think this is. Chewed up number 3 and then into number 5 back up through the intake, and then 7, I think. So by this little piece of valve seat being dropped here and chewing up this piston, it ruined this whole, I mean every piston on this side. So this motor will probably get taken back out and we'll probably do something with it, probably build it. So there'll be another video probably in the future about this motor and go more in detail of what happened. I have borescope footage of, you know, the chewed up pistons. I'll try and put some of that footage in there. You can barely see it, but it's there, and I'll try and put some of that in there. So that's what we got going on right now. And then
so we got something chewed up the number 1.
I pulled all the plugs, and all the plugs look all right.
Oh yeah, look at that.
Dang. So I've really chewed something up. That's just number 1.
Looks like it's got some cylinder scuffing.
Okay, number 3 is not looking great either. Okay, so 5 isn't good either. Right, so that's 2.
1, 3, 5, 7.
5, 7.
I would say until we pull it apart totally.
So here's back to number 1. Number 1 looks like the worst.
Yeah.
God.
That's the top of the piston.
Trying to get the reflection out of it.
You can move the camera if you need to.
Jesus. Ate it up.
It probably dropped a intake seat. So that just cross-contaminated it.
So it went right back up in the intake and right back into all the other cylinders.
Jeez. Because that piston's definitely hammered.
Is this the one where it's all on the cylinder wall too? I think all of them kind of got it.
Yeah, this one definitely the worst. Alright, we'll show you something about these Hemis you probably already know about. They're kind of old, but if you ever have one drop a valve seat, it will blow chunks back up into the intake. So if you do a head job on one side or both sides and do not clean the intake, or I would say replace it, you're gonna mess up your motor again. This 08 motor, which we think ate a valve seat, I took the throttle body off. There's 3 little chunks there and a big cat chunk. You know, and let's see what we can shake out of the intake. You can still hear chunks.
We put the hose in the other one
Bouncing around. But if you do a top end on one of these, replace the heads because it ate up drop valve seats or damaged piston, and do not replace the intake or wash it out really good, you're going to destroy another motor and cylinder heads.
I feel like we put the hose in the other one and washed it out 3 or 4 times and they're still...
Yeah, the last one I did, I degreased it and washed it, and it still had stuff rattling in it. Best thing is to buy a new intake.